Hey, 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 Cindy Gould here, and welcome back to Create Your Victorious Life. Welcome to the Spanglish World Networks on Zingo TV, channels 250 and 251. Please remember to download both the Zingo TV apps on your respective app stores, whether it's iOS or Android devices. While you download, make sure that you leave us a stellar rating and a comment. That app is totally free. Everybody loves free. Zingo TV is also available on Google Chromecast, Amazon Fire, and Fire TV sticks, Roku, and Roku sticks on all your smart TVs, not your dumb ones, from 2016 and forward. And I am stoked to have my guest this week. She's gorgeous inside and out. One of my favorite people that's on this planet. Liliana is, let me just tell you a little bit about her. She is a phenomenal athlete. She can share about that, and has been one her whole life. She's dedicated mama to two beautiful and amazing young men. And I think expecting her first grandbaby, which is so exciting. And she's got 30 years experience and achievements, tons of achievements and accolades in the entrepreneurial space. She is a phenomenal leader. She is massively cool and so fun and has so much love in her heart, but she's also incredibly brilliant. She's gifted and brilliant in many modalities and the things that she brings to the world. And she's also, I get the privilege of calling her my friend, and also my fellow neuroencoding specialist, 1-star dual elite, which is so great. And what she really does, and it's fun because we're both breakthrough coaches, and I love what she does, is she helps people break through their belief systems and their behaviors so that anything that's been holding you back, so that you can not just reach your goals, but reach higher than your goals, and you can go beyond that. And so without further ado, welcome.
Thank you so much, Cindy. After such an introduction, I am speechless. What else can I say about me? There is nothing left.
Mic drop.
Yeah, I'm so happy to be here with you, my dear friend. And as I wrote you in the message, I look up at you and you inspire me. And you are not only my friend, you are also my mentor. So thank you so much for having me here.
Oh my goodness, thank you so much. You honor me. And I did fail to mention that she's in Romania. On top of all of that, she's across the planet, and I appreciate the time zone difference and that she's here always. I've seen her on so many Zooms at multiple times during the day, daytime for me, in the middle of the night for her sometimes. She always looks gorgeous and always brings it. And so now everybody knows when it's your first time on my show, I always ask the same question that kind of starts our conversation out. And you have had victory as an athlete. You've had victory multiple times, many times in your life, and you've overcome a lot of things and persevered and stayed focused, laser focused on reaching so many of your goals. And I'm just going to throw this out there. How have you created victory in your life? And you can start anywhere.
Mm-hmm. So everything started when I was 7 years old, and I got involved in sports. I was an athlete my whole life. And back in the day, it was communist time in Romania. So it was something that was very special, to be an athlete and to have the opportunity to travel across the country and to travel to other countries, because otherwise you were not allowed to leave the country. Just to know, we didn't even have passports at that time. You traveled, it was a collective paper, like everybody, the whole team was on that paper. You didn't have passport, your own passport. And this was a big opportunity for me, to be special and to be something else. So I embraced sports. And now I'm so grateful for that, because, this was the best education I could get. Sports teaches you perseverance, teaches you discipline, teaches you, doesn't matter how many times you fall down or you lose a competition or maybe you're injured or something. Everything that counts is to get up back on your feet and start all over again. So of course, this was the best education for life. So when the communist wall felt down, we started, it was like El Dorado for us to go into business, because we finally had the opportunity to make more money and to have a better life. So I was so young. I was 21. I just finished university. So we jumped in, like we started, the businesses we conducted through all my 30 years of business. And of course, we didn't know much then, but because of the sports background, I was eager and ready to learn more and more and more. So I went back to school and I learned again, and we developed everything that we had. And then I moved from one country to another. I moved to Canada. I lived 6 years in Canada. Then I moved to United States. I lived in the United States. I had to keep. So a lot of things were going on in my life. And I had many obstacles. I had many difficult periods in my life. I got sick, I got divorced, I had, life, it's life. It comes with good and bad, but what you need to do is to navigate through everything. And this was my light. Like, I knew that I can, and I knew that it's never too late to start all over again or to reconfigure yourself. So I was 52 years old when I decided that I just want to leave the business world. It wasn't for me anymore. And I had it in my heart that I want to start something new, and I want to give more back to the people, and to give more back, because, during my life, I had a lot of help from my coaches, from my parents, from the people surrounded me, my business partners, and I just wanted to give back. So I decided, to enroll in the Neuroencoding Institute and to become a performance coach. Of course, my background helped me a lot, because I finished the sport university, and in Romania, when you are in the sport university, you have 3 years of sports psychology. So I had the background, I had the skills, but I needed a form, like a structure or processes and techniques to be able to use what I know. And this is what the Neuroencoding Institute gave me. So proudly, I can say that now I am part of this family, and I'm doing this. It's the pleasure of my life. I'm so happy. I'm never too tired, or it's never too much, And what repays me for everything that I do, it's when I see my clients smile, when I see they smile and their life improve, maybe just 1 inch. And it's immense. It's huge. I'm so happy for them. And a few days ago, one of my clients, he's going through a very tough period, and I actually, he told me, "Man, you want me to succeed more than I do?" And I said, "Yes, I want for you to have a happy life." And he said, "What you are doing and the energy you are putting in our coaching sessions, they don't let me fall. Like, you keep me on your palms, and you just push me. And this is because I love what I do." And same with you, because we come from the same family.
Yes, we do. And you know what? There's so many things. So I tell people that, the privilege I have of hosting my show is it's like a big master's class, and I have notes. Like, I have a notebook where I'm writing furiously all these little things, these nuggets of things. And one of the things that I see consistently for you is, and knowing you like I do as well, even in the midst of, whether it was the sickness, the divorce, the moving, even moving is like a big deal. And then having children and moving and doing the things, moving is a big deal when you move within your city or your country, but moving to other countries, whole different ball game. And what I see with you is that your athletic background, starting at age 7, like, your athletic background served you in a way that it gave you discipline, it gave you focus, it gave you perseverance, it gave you suck it upness. Like, you just, when you're too tired to run that next lap, or too tired to do that thing, you still did it. And I think that how did that play, and how does that continue to play, even in how you craft your coaching now and what you offer? Because you do a lot of workshops from basic levels, like I want you to share what you do with all the coals and all of that, and also to your upcoming workshop with the bankers, like, and you work within government, you know, you've got such a wide variety.
Yeah, actually, when you are in sports and when you have, exactly as you said, that discipline, you don't negotiate with your mind. Because of course you have days when you wake up and you are not in a good mood, or maybe you are tired, or maybe your body is aching. You know how it is when you train and everything is aching, but you reach what's happening through all those many years of training and doing business and everything. I never negotiated with my mind. This is what I have to do, and I'm doing it no matter what. Like, I even have, because sometimes you feel like being a little bit of a victim, and you feel like you want to cry for yourself and self-pity. And I'm like, yeah. And you know what I tell to myself in those moments? Okay, now you better move your ass and do it, and you'll cry a little bit later after you succeed. Then you can cry as much as you want. So this is my word, like, cry a little bit later.
Yeah. You know what I always say to myself, don't be a whiny pea pants. That's
Exactly.
it's like, get over yourself, right? What I love, I wrote this down. This should be like a bumper sticker or a plaque on people's walls. You don't negotiate with your mind. You make up your mind and you do it. And there are certain things that are just must haves and must do's that no matter what, like even in relationships. Now, you and I both experienced divorce. And I know that we've talked about, meeting somebody new, and, it's been a few years and for both of us, and meeting someone new. And there are certain things that we're never going to negotiate on. I mean, there's certain things that we learned, I know even the way that we love ourselves is different than we loved ourselves in our marriages. Right. And there's certain things that we just wouldn't negotiate on. Do you find, and I know that there's, we have people that watch that are also in business and that are entrepreneurs, or that are coaches also, and entrepreneurs that way. Do you find, even for yourself, some people are so desperate to have that client or have that business, the business, the sale, that they negotiate and they allow a client in that they maybe not even want to work with? Do you find yourself, because we had this on a call earlier today with Vinu, do you find yourself saying no to people?
Yes, a lot. And for example, today I just had a discussion with a potential client. He's an athlete from Germany, and we will start to work together. And I told him, I said, look, next week we will meet and see if you resonate with me and I resonate with you. Because, maybe we are not a match. Sometimes I know that I can be pushy, and, some people, they don't like to be pushed. I know, because he's an athlete, he's going to go for it. But it's not necessarily a match. So we have the right to say no, the right to choose. I said no many times, or for example, I worked with somebody for 2 or 3 sessions, and I saw that, man, he's not ready, or he's not able, to do whatever he was supposed to do. And I said, look, I don't want to waste your time and money, and I don't need you to waste my time. So that's it. We have to say goodbye. Maybe you come back later or whatever, So yes, we have this right. And because if you are not there 100% with your energy and your soul, things are not going well. Like, they can feel, you can feel. So you cannot be there if you are not a match with your client. So yes, of course, I said no many times. I'm not saying yes to everything. Never, never.
Never, ever. And you know what? And here's what's so great. I know for you and me, we have over 1,000 coaches at our disposal that we can refer somebody to. So when I talk with somebody, I tell them, hey, exactly what you said. Let's see if we're a match. If I know that I can help you get from where you're at to where you want to be, and that we will be in sync with each other, and that I am the best match for you, I'm all in. And if I'm not, I'll refer you to my friend Liliana, or, to my friend Eric, or whoever. And I think that a lot of people are afraid, right, to they hold on so tight because they're so afraid that they won't have the income coming in, or so they, I think, dishonor themselves in a way, or they even lower their offering just to get that sale. I want to bring that point up on purpose because in life, how many times, like think in your own life, how many times did we not speak up, not show up, not, we were afraid, basically. And you and I both know about the toxic 10, the things that we're most afraid of, right? Fear of success or failure, hesitation, procrastination, stress, overwhelm, self-doubt, self-loathing, and of course the ever so popular fear of rejection, and what, I would say rejection / abandonment. But how many times have we not shown up or said yes to things and then end up at a destination where we're miserable, right?
Exactly.
Has that ever happened to you?
Yeah, of course, many times, even in business, because I did, I started from scratch. I remember a few days ago that when we started, we went into business with my ex-husband. We only had $1,000. We just had our wedding, and the gifts back in the day were, I remember I even got as a wedding present a pack of cigarettes. We were not even smoking.
I love it. That's great.
We got an envelope and we were, oh my God, there's so much money in this envelope. And when we opened the envelope, it was a pack of cigarettes.
That's great.
Cool, back in the day. So we only had $1,000 and we started with those money. And, during the 30 years of business, we built from green 2 factories, an alcoholic beverage factory and the lubricants motor oil factory. Then we had we had real estate developments, and we did a lot of different businesses. Not all of them were successful, of course, because life it's like that. You learn, you just go and learn. But the most important ones, they survived, and they are still on the market, and everything is going well with them. I gave them away, but that doesn't matter. They are still there. But like you learn, you just move on and learn. When you are not successful, again, I'm gonna go back to sports. Like I was listening to Roger Federer, a few days ago. He gave a speech to a university, something, and he was telling those kids, like, even though he was the best in the world for so many years, he said, when I count my successes and my failures, I had more failures than successes, because like it's not always winning. But what you need to do in that moment when you fall down, when you are injured, you just move on. You just move on. You don't look, never look back. Just learn from your past and move on. Look into the future. See all the possibilities that are in front of you. So yes, this is what I did. So of course, there were many times when I did mistakes. There were many times when I said yes when I shouldn't say yes. But what's good is with age you become more wise. So that's a good point that I'm in my 56th already. So
what a gorgeous 56 you are. Now, I love that you said that with age you become more wise. I had a conversation with my son Nicholas, who's also an athlete, and this was years ago. And as we watch even our parents' age, we watch people we love age. You and I are close in age, and I'm older than you, which is great. And and thank you. But what's interesting is when we do that, my conversation with Nicholas was, hey, the more reps you do, the more weights you lift, the more miles you run, the more things you do, the more snow you walk practically naked in, the more cold water dips you do, all the things, right? The breathing, all of it, your body is in peak form and in peak shape. And like, if you look at the blue zones, right, in the world, where people where they've, have through the roof centurions that are living well past 100 years old. In fact, one of our girls, Aviva, in the Institute, her precious, beautiful grandmother is 106 and kicks butt. Yeah. Joseph went to her home and interviewed her. Yeah. And she was playing the piano and everything, and just amazing. And when you look at that, my conversation with Nicholas was, as people's minds deteriorate and things, to me, the older we get, the sharper our minds should be, the clearer our minds should be, the wiser, right? And I know that there's things that you teach in your workshops with one of your friends that you guys have partnered with. I remember when you started doing this. Share with our audience like that workshop that you do, because it's highly successful, but it's something that I believe doesn't just feed your body, but it really works on the mind as well.
Yeah, so my partner, he's a Wim Hof certified instructor. So what we do together, we do winter travels. What means that we take people in the middle of the winter, half naked. They are just wearing shorts and the girls' bras. And we go up in the mountain, and then we immerse in waterfalls, in rivers, and sometimes there are minus 15, 17 Celsius degrees, which is like freaking cold, of course. And they can do this because we climb on the mountain. For example, last time the climb was for 2 hours, the trekking.
Wow.
And it was very humid and it was snowy, and we had very tough conditions, but everybody could do it. Why? Because they were laser focused and they learned how to meditate through their walk. They were not allowed to speak a word, just to stay focused and just look at the step in front. One step, another step, and just like that. And why they can do this? Because we train their mind. This is the most important thing. You said about that lady that's 106. And you know what I noticed? Because I went back to school not long ago and I started to learn so much and to be part of all these workshops and everything that I'm learning. And I remember things like I never thought of them for years and years. I'm more focused. I make better connections. When somebody tells me something, that I can make better connections now. And this is all happening because what I'm doing, I'm training my mind every day. So that's the secret. And you know, I noticed something else, and this is coming also from sports. Even if you did something 100,000 times, never take a shortcut. It's not working. Get ready exactly as you do it for the first time in your life. For example, I train athletes, and you know, they have the competition and they do the warm-up, and maybe they have the first session in the competition. And it just happened not long ago. I am training this amazing boy. He's 15 and he's in the national team of Romania. He's in fencing. And you know how kids are at 15. He won the first matches and then he got cocky because he said, okay, I'm so good. I'm on the wave. I'm riding the wave. So when the next game, what he did, he went on a shortcut with the warm-up. Of course, he lost. But I was there with him and I said, okay, he needs to learn a lesson. So I'm not going to jump on him. I'll just let him. I noticed that he's not doing right what he's doing. But I said, okay, he needs to learn this lesson. Not because I am telling him, because he needs to have this experience. And then I told him, you know why you lost this match? Because you tried a shortcut. It's not working like that. Doesn't matter. You did the same thing for, I don't know, 20, 30 years. You still have to go through the same preparation every time. That's it. That's it. It's done with a purpose.
Well, it's like something I wrote. I'm already on my second page of notes, Liliana. Something I wrote on the first page is I just put in parentheses strategy. And while you're talking, I love to cook. I create meals. I love it. I like to make things beautiful and yummy. That's my goal. But you know what? It's interesting because if you're making a cake, you don't, oh, well, I think I'll do without the sugar this time. Or I think I'll do without the vanilla when you need vanilla for a vanilla cake, right? It's the same thing with shortcuts. It's like if you negate one step or one piece of it as an athlete, and I know this just, you know, in my own life and the things that I did in sports, as an athlete, it could easily cause injury. Not only that, but when you've trained your mind with a certain strategy and a certain discipline, when you skip that step, you're hijacking your brain like, oh, wait, pivot, and like you said, your guy didn't win, your young athlete didn't win. So for you, talk to us, because there are so many people that I know that my son Nick does the Wim Hof, and I remember him posting massive pictures of dog and his fiance, with Casey and with some of his guys, his team, and they're in their shorts in 4-foot snow kind of thing, or whatever. There's deep snow, and that's it. They're in shorts, and she's in this sports bra and shorts, and they've got the dog and walking, and tell people what the benefits are of doing something like that, but on a regular basis. My brother Jay, he does cold water dips every single Sunday, and he's got a group of people that meet him winter in the snow in Utah, or summer, in the river, the same river, and they meet every week. What is the benefit to, like, some of the health benefits and also mind benefits of doing that?
Helps a lot with depression and anxiety, because when you do that and when you succeed, you have a lot of dopamine, and you have a lot of serotonin, then it helps a lot with pain. It's an anti-inflammatory thing, the ice. It's just remember how many times the doctor told you put some ice on it. So now you put some ice on the whole body, like it's the same thing. Then it helps you, to laser focus, because when you get into that ice, for example, the longest I was in ice was for 6 minutes, and I was up to my neck, and the water, because they measured the temperature, was 0.5 Celsius degrees, which is almost, to the freezing point. It was a swimming pool full of ice. And what's happening, you learn how to meditate and how to go inside your body. And that what I remember, I couldn't hear anything that was surrounding me or what's happening around me. And I said, okay, I need to find something to help me. So I imagine that I have a big sun here in the middle of my chest, and that sun sends warm to my, heat to my fingers, because what's happening when you go into the ice, the first things that are freezing are your fingers and your toes, because all the blood goes to your organs to protect the organs. So I just imagine this sun warming up my fingers and my toes. And you know what happened, Cindy? I could hear the ice melting. I had so much. Yeah, exactly, because everything is the power of the mind. Yep. Like when you focus and you imagine, and I use a lot of working with visualization with my athletes, and even with people that I'm working with, not only athletes. I work a lot, using their imagination and to imagine things, to see things. And when you see all that, I saw the sun warming me, and I could hear the ice cracking. It was melting around me. And of course, you don't feel anymore the cold. Like I could be in that swimming pool for 2 hours, I think. I couldn't feel anything.
What's so cool about that is I joke around, but I really sincerely meant this. I lived in Seattle for a little while, and people tease about Seattle. It's rainy, it's this, it's that. And I moved to Seattle from Hawaii. So, I mean, to go from that environment but it's beautiful and green, and it's still on the ocean, right? And I remember somebody saying to me, Cindy, how do you deal with all the rain? And it took me aback, because immediately out of my mouth, I said, what do you mean? I'm my own walking sunshine. And literally, I didn't notice how rainy it was, because that was the mindset I had, that I was my own walking sunshine. And wherever I showed up, it was sunny. And I still walk that way. You know me, so that's how I roll anyway. But it was interesting for me, because it's exactly like what you said, and the power. Like, even yesterday I connected with someone that I love and treasure, and I just said, hey, when I sent her a text, she said, I've been thinking about you for 2 days. I said, weird, because I've had you on my heart for 2 days. And it's that same thing. It's just locking into a frequency, right? Of doing that. And so, which leads me to my next question with you, because one of the things you do is something that I know even our common friend, our good friend, Johnny Pardo in the UK, he's just getting certified also in the somatic breathing, and some things that he's doing with that. And one of the things that you guys offer, you and your partner offer, business partner offer with Wim Hof, is also the breathing, right?
Yeah, holotropic breathing.
Yes. So maybe share a little bit about that and the benefits of that.
Yeah, so this is a method that was developed by Stanislav Grof. He's a psychiatrist. He's 92 years old, and he's still teaching and he's still lecturing a lot. Yes. And my partner studied with him for 8 years. And what he discovered, that with the help of your breathing and music, a certain kind of music, you can access your subconscious mind and get informations from there. And these camps, like we do them for 4 days. Everybody has 2 sessions of breathing, because one session lasts for 3 hours. So you are constantly breathing, like powerful breathing for 3 hours. And then for example, I'm going to just share from my own experience. When I tried it for the first time, I was claustrophobic. And everything started when I was pregnant with my older son. I couldn't get off the dress, a dress, and I started to be claustrophobic. And, from that moment, I couldn't go into an elevator. I couldn't be where a lot of people were. And, I struggled with this for many, many years. And I was like, what's happening? Why? Because, I couldn't understand. So when I was in one of these holotropic breathing sessions, I went all the way back into my mom's womb. I remembered that when I was just a fetus, the umbilical cord was wrapped around my hand, my tiny little hand, and it was squeezing my hand. Wow. So it was coming from there. And when it started, when I was pregnant with my boy.
Wow.
So exactly. So, when I relived, it was a trauma for that tiny little fetus, And when I relived the trauma and I understood exactly when and why and what happened after I came out from that holotropic session, breathing session, from that moment I was never claustrophobic again.
Wow.
Like I was healed because I understood what happened. So this is what you do with all this kind, because I just told you that this weekend I was in London to work with Richard Bandler and Paul McKenna, and we learned hypnosis. And what are they doing with hypnosis? The same thing. Like what you do, you can access your subconscious mind.
Yeah.
And they had a metaphor which is amazing. Our subconscious mind is like a huge room filled up with all the information, like full of furniture, let's say. And our conscious mind, it's those little flashlights, just like a dot. When you light them up, you just see a little bit, like a tiny. Yeah, and they said this is our subconscious mind. And when you go with that flashlight in that big, huge, dark room, you just see a little bit. But when you overpass this conscious mind of yours, you get access to all the information you have in your brain since you are just a fetus. Like everything is stored there. And you can use this information, for your benefit, to grow, to become better and better, and to overcome fears, phobias, and everything. So I am a curious person. So whenever I have the chance to learn, I'm gonna go and do it. And I decided long ago that I'm gonna only learn from the best. I'm gonna go directly to the source to be certain that I have, I get the first-hand information.
Yes. Hey, and welcome to my brother from another mother, Eric Stenlake, who says Liliana Lucian is an amazing coach. And yes, she is. She is such a rock star. You know what I love about what you said is because I, had the privilege of doing my NLP certification through Steve Linder this year. And one of the things that, when we talk about and he calls it our unconscious mind, and here's what's so wild about it, and people don't get this, is that it sees everything and takes everything and nothing personal. You know what I mean? It's a collector of information into a big, like you would say, a big room. And And for me, it's like this big warehouse, same thing, just this big warehouse, like you said, of stacked furniture and all these things in there from all the way back to, like you said, your memory of being in your mother's belly, of being in the womb. And you don't even, they're all tucked nice and neat and stored, or maybe your warehouse is sloppy and everything's just thrown in there. I mean, whatever, right? One thing that I don't know if you ever read the book from Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now. And he talked about, remember this study? He talked about there were people, I don't know if it was he or somebody, had people on the street somewhere and just observe everything. And then afterwards, at the end of the street, okay, write down everything you remember. And one would say like a red car, or there was a dog barking or whatever. And then they were put like under hypnosis, like, and really in a meditative state. And they actually remembered not just the color of cars, the license plate numbers, the addresses on the homes, the people who walked by, the color of their shoelaces, like all the different things. And that's what was actually stored and that they actually had access to when they were shown how to tap into that, right? And we just don't realize, right, how powerful that we have this, ability and this enormous resource, because a lot of times, like you said, there's this tiny little flashlight that you use, and I used to say, and I still do to people, and in a couple of talks that I've given, even of, God like sits up here and like in the attic of your home, and he can see everything. He can see your garden, see all the things. And some people don't even get out of the freaking closet. They just stay in the closet with all the hanging clothes, afraid, right, to step out into their beautiful living room and experience that, or step into their kitchen and create beautiful meals, meaning using that as a metaphor for their lives. So what are maybe some of the strategies that you've used as an athlete? You've had so much to draw on. You said earlier that you don't negotiate with your mind. So let's say that I am committing to, run every day. Let me just use that, or just to get healthy, because there's so many people, more so in the US than in Europe, where obesity is a huge thing here, right? Let's say that I'm committing to my health. And I get up in the morning and I look at the clock and it's 5 o'clock and I'm supposed to get up at 5 and do my quick meditation and then go out and run. And I'm like, what could you tell our audience that's watching now or in the future? How do you hijack that thought and not negotiate?
I don't think, what I do? Like I wake up, let's say it's 5 o'clock in the morning and it's raining. And I look on the window and it's raining. And I feel like, because I'm doing this 3 or 4 times a week, I just walk my dog in a forest near the house. And doesn't matter if it's cold or it's raining or it's snowing or whatever. And I look outside and it's snowing or raining. And I'm like, okay, just move your ass. Like I don't even give myself the opportunity to say no. Like, do you remember what Tony Robbins said? That every morning what he's doing, he has that cold water and he just jumps in it. Why? Because, that's how I trained my mind. What I'm doing with my clients, for example, because, sometimes they get lazy, sometimes they don't want to do it. And I'm like, what I do? I message them every morning. And I'm like, okay, if I woke up at 7 or 6 to message you to move your ass and do whatever you are supposed to do, then you better do it. Because, I woke up for you. And this is something important when they feel that it's beyond them. Sometimes for them, it's not that important. But, sometimes what they do, it's important for me. Like, man, she woke up at 7 o'clock to give me a message. I better go and do it, And the most important thing is the why. Like why it is important for you. Because, if you talk about losing weight, let's say, losing weight, what means that? Maybe, lose weight, I just lose 1 pound and that's it. But if you talk about being healthy and usually when I talk about that, I project them in the future. Like, do you want to see your grandchildren? Do you want to be able to go skiing in 20 years from now?
Yes.
Then you have to do something. Like, if you don't start now, you're not going to be able to enjoy your life. And I make them imagine how it's going to be for you if you're going to be sick and you're going to be in a wheelchair, or you're not going to be able to put your shoes on. So just imagine that. First time I take them, like in a, let's say, horror movie. What's going to happen, if you don't do anything about it? And what I'm doing, like, the goal doesn't have to be huge, because it's huge. If it's huge, they're not going to do it. It's too far, too big. So what we do, we just take one step. I tell them, okay, just tomorrow, go out tomorrow. Just walk 1 hour tomorrow, and we'll see what's going to happen the day after tomorrow. So just one step at a time. And like this, it's easier for them. Even with the what they are eating. Like, I give them suggestions. Okay, if you tell them, beginning with today, you're not allowed to eat anything, they're not going to do it because it's too much. So I say, okay, let's just replace something with something. Like, it's a little more easier. Let's replace your 5 o'clock snack, chocolate snack, with some carrot sticks or whatever, So like that, and I always give them healthy options. That's the thing, to give them the solution and to give them the options that are appealing to them. Just project them, like, make them see themselves. For example, if they are fit and the clothes look nice on them, or when they walk on the street and they are proud with their back, straight and everything. And this is what motivates them.
Yes. You know what I love about that? So even what you said, just take one step. So I recently got in a rut of not going and walking, and I live in such a beautiful place. Like, on my property, I get to walk in, like you said, the forest, and I love where I live, and I have a beautiful dog, and he likes to go walk. And so I just said, you know what, Cindy, it doesn't matter. My goal is to walk twice a day, in the morning and at night, because I do like you do. It's like a meditative prayer state for me too. And I love to do that. And so, and I get the health benefit of it as well. So I did the same thing. It doesn't matter how far you walk, just get off your butt and get out the door, and I force myself so that now it's a habit. That it's just, get up, grab the leash, grab the dog, go. It's just like, let's just go. He's used to it. He's ready. Like, hey, are we going? Like, because it's already a habit for him that he's created that. And one of the things too is that you said also is the why and the future casting. Like, for me, I've released 130 pounds. Now, I wasn't always overweight. I had a few miscarriages, and one of them in my 40s, and one of them I was 6 months pregnant. So after that, and I miscarried a little boy. His name is Kalani, which in Hawaiian means the heavens. And after that, I didn't even realize that, because I stopped working. My ex-husband and I, we were 2 a days at the gym. We were at the gym at 4 a.m. We were at the gym after dinner. And we weren't crazy about it. We loved it. It was just fun. It was part of our lifestyle, right? I stopped doing that. And it wasn't even so much that I was pigging out. It was that I was sad. And what happened is my body held on, and most, Eric knows this if he's still watching, and that my son Nicholas said, well, Mom, that's just sad fat. And I did. It was like holding on to those things. And the more that I had even forgiveness, the more that I had, that I replaced the sadness, like you said, replace something with something, the more that even, that I replaced even things like, even recently, even through, the NLP with Steve Linder, we did a swoosh exercise where it's like, yeah, I'll buy, like, I know my babies are coming over with their babies, right? And so I'll buy, like, like tortilla chips and other things, right? And have snacks for them. And then they don't come over, within a week or whatever of when I buy it. And when they are going to come over, I go to the cupboard. I'm like, oh no, I need to buy more. Well, where the heck did it go? Right. So I replaced those tortilla chips with, with sweet potatoes. And
For example,
you know, not sweet potatoes with like with sugar. Just, you know, I season them with some spices and a little bit of butter, and I'm in heaven. It's like, oh my goodness. And so it was just like doing those kinds of things. But over the course of a few years, I released the 130 pounds. And that's, I tease because you and I and Eric, who also know Yayoi Komiyama from Brain to Belly, and she's one of our dear friends, and she's a phenomenal coach, especially in those, is in that niche. You know, I tease and I say, oh my gosh, Yayoi, it was like carrying you on my back. I released a whole Yayoi, 130 pounds, you know, went off. Yeah, because she's so tiny, but you know, that's a lot of body weight, body armor that I was carrying. But it literally, and I did some other things. I went to a doctor and dealt with metabolics. I mean, you know, there were some things that I did. I was very intentional about it and very attention. I gave so much attention to it, but it had to start here and here. Like you and I, you know, all of it, as we think, so we feel, as we feel, so we do, as we do, so we have. And I had to figure out what was going on here. Right. And so with, you know, as we're not done for today, but as we get closer to closing out today, in that process, what have you noticed with your clients? Are there similarities in some of the things that hang them up from being victorious in the goals that they have?
Yes. What I actually, I wanted to say something before I'm going to answer this question. You know, another thing that I notice with people, and maybe this is useful, you know, to our audience. For example, people think of doing sports or exercising that they need to go to the gym, and that's not true. Like, exercising means whatever pleases you. A walk can be exercise. I because, you know, I work with a lot of very busy people. I work with CEOs and CFOs, and they work a lot, and they have 2 children, and they have a husband, and they have that and that and that and that. They have to juggle with a lot of things. And what I tell them, doing sports means dancing with your daughter in your living room. Just play some music, you guys cook together and just move around the house. Or maybe if you have a boy, just go outside and kick the ball with your boy for half an hour. And that's a lot of exercise. So you don't have what it is very important, even in regards of the food. You need to be flexible. You need to be open. It's not, you know, it's not like if it's that, then it's that. No, it's not like that. Whatever, like, you have to think whatever comes. Like, okay, I'm hungry. I open the fridge and I know that some carrot stick, they're gonna do the trick. So let me just grab them instead of, I don't know, cheese or whatever, you know. So just be flexible. Don't hang on to something that it's not achievable or not doable. Because even, you know, with their goals, even with my clients with their goals, this is what I'm teaching them. Be flexible. Just make sure that you are on the road you decided to go on. And, you know, like the airplane, just check your GPS. How far you are off the road, and just go back. And, you know, like, don't punish yourself. Okay, maybe you had a birthday or a wedding or whatever, and you had a piece of cake last night. Not any problem. Just go. I take breaks and I do up to 300 push-ups a day. Oh my God.
I know. It's so great. I can totally see him doing that. Can't you see Eric doing that too? Like, because he's got. So to your point, Liliana, one of the things that, like, if you're into chips and dip, let's say that that's kind of your go-to snack, chips and dip. What, you know, what is it that you like about that? The crunch, the salt, the, you know, the yummy of the even the movement, the process, because there's something to that. Whatever it is, well, what if it were like you say carrot sticks or celery and hummus?
Yes, it's crunchy.
Right, they're still crunchy, and hummus, right? So what if it's like something, you know, and you're replacing it? And what I noticed, and I know that you can attest to this, that you don't feel like self, or I mean, you don't even necessarily feel like I literally don't. I don't even walk down the chip aisle now. You know, it's interesting. I go straight for the sweet potatoes. It's so cool. But your body responds to the type of fuel that you put in it. Right.
And you know, my mind makes kind of associations. For example, when I pass near McDonald's, for example, I'm sick. Like, why? Because, you know, I told to myself so many times, like, this, the fast food is not healthy for you, that now I don't even like the smell or something. So this is what I'm doing. I make associations in my brain, what's good for me, what's not good for me. So I'm not even gonna go in that area. I don't want them. Like, I even if they are on the table in front of me, I'm like, okay, this is not my food, I'm not eating it. Like, that's 100%. The thing. Yeah. Do not negotiate with your mind. And you 100%. Know what I know? If you are busy, you're not that hungry. You need
100%. I love it. Be busy. Yeah. You won't be bored. You won't be 100%. Exactly. And we just got the sign that we only have like 30 seconds left. So really quick, please. Thank you for being here. Look at how fast the time went. We could talk for hours. And you know, thank you to all of you for watching today. Liliana, where can we find you? Where can people look you up and connect with you?
You can find me on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook by my name, Liliana Lucian. And I even have a website, which is www.lilianalucian.ro from Romania. So yes, I'm everywhere.
Yay! And I'm going to have you come back. This was so great. I want to thank all of you for joining us. Please look me up on Facebook and join my group, the Victory Network. You'll get more of this, and you'll get to see Liliana on there as well as Eric Stenlake, who's been with us today. This show can also be heard on the Spanglish Radio Network. Please check it out, spanglishworld.ca, for all the news and programming. Spanglish World, watch it, hear it, read it, download it, and live it. Thank you so much. And what do you have to believe? Yes, sweetie. And what do you have to believe to create?